Rajat, just record. Yeah, you have pressed the recording button. Okay. Subir had asked to remind you.
Okay. So now that shall be recorded, that Ruchi reminded me as a start of the session. Subir can check that.
Yeah, Subir will be happy with that.
Okay, let me start. So, MBTI was not really a brainchild of Carl Gustav Jung, but it was picked up from Jung's philosophy. And so, give you a background on Jung. Jung was 1875 to 1961. He was a psychiatrist, and he developed multiple theories on personality and how people think and the mind and all that kind of stuff, right? One of his theories, I would say one, because he wrote many, right? He wrote amazing books. And so one theory was differences between people are not random. Instead, they form patterns or types, as he would want to call them, right? And importantly, we perform two kinds of mental processes. Either we take in information, and then we make decisions about the information. So we take in information in a particular way, then we utilize that information to make a decision in a particular way, right? So these are the two mental processes that we do at all times, and that we live in two worlds. One is an outer world, which is things, people, events, etc., that whatever is happening outside us, and an inner world, which are our thoughts, feelings, reflections, who we are as a person itself, right? So he came up with the concept of preferences. I'll come back to preferences again. What are preferences? What he believed was that preferences are innate. Basically, these are your inborn predispositions, and the other piece is they're shaped by environment. We are shaped by environmental influences, our family, our culture, education, etc. So there's a big difference between the nature and the nurture piece. So the nature is who we are born as, which is our personality, and nurture is what we learn or what we become because of the environment. So at any point of time, we are reacting or we are doing things, or whatever we are doing, how we take information or how we make decisions based on information is based on how we were born and how we have been nurtured over time. Okay.
I've got a question, Rajat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's saying that all of us have got both parts within us.
Yes.
There's a part of us that we are born with, which is nature, and there's nurture as well.
Correct.
And everyone has that.
Correct.
You are born. He is definitely saying that you are born a certain way as well.
Yes. Yes. So there are some innate personality.
Okay. Fair.
1 second. So I'm going to mute Priya. Okay. Sorry, I muted you, Priya, because you're getting background noise from your side. Okay. So yeah. So every person has a piece of what comes with us when we are born, and there's a whole piece of us which is based on the nurture, how we have been nurtured, in what society, in what environment have been brought up, what kind of parents, what kind of culture, what kind of country, etc., right? It defines who we are at the end of the day. So both have a play in how we live today, how we react today, and how we perform these kind of mental processes itself.
And the born piece is only about my parents, or it could also come from generations, different generations, other members of the family, etc., etc.
So he's not going into the gene theory around this one. He just goes and saying there are pieces which are innate to us, which are part of our, when we are born already.
Okay.
Right. So he is not going into the gene theory saying, do genes play and which part of genes and other fathers and all this. He's not going there based on that.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
but it is true, Arvind, Rajat, that when people are born, out of the same set of parents, one is different from, there would be something related with genes on this, right?
Yeah, there might be. So as Jung, I'm just showcasing what Jung said. So Jung did not go into the gene theory in this case. Okay.
Sure.
So I'm just keeping it do what we are discussing. And also, obviously, gene has played its own role, but then it's a bigger, much larger area to discuss than which gene, what gene, where it came from, etc., etc. Right? So we're just going with that assumption that Jung made, saying you're born with a certain piece, and there is another piece of you which is nurtured over years, right, in the environment that you live. Okay. Now, this whole concept was picked up by two sisters, Catherine Briggs and Isabel Myers, right? And they developed the whole concept of psychological types based on Jung's concept. And they came out with the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI instrument. Okay. So the sisters Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. So based on Jung's philosophy that was created. Right? So MBTI, so what it does, the instrument itself, it increases self-awareness and confirms self-perception. So these are more pointers. I'm also reading what Aditi has created. This is her slide deck. So appreciate and capitalize on strengths of self and others. So I'll come back to this, why MBTI is important. Okay. Okay. So now I want each of you to sign on a piece of paper with your natural hand. The typical signatures you do, whatever you do signatures, just use your natural hand to sign.
What about people who are driving?
Imagine you are signing.
Okay, I did it. I signed.
Okay.
Okay. How fast or how comfortable was it?
Very fast, very comfortable.
And the quality of your writing? Whatever you write typically, that quality. It's the same quality.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now I want you to use your not natural hand and sign it. Use to sign it.
Oh, okay.
This is the first time I'm going to be doing this.
I can't even visualize.
I mean, it's in a very crude manner right now.
Yeah.
How hard, how uncomfortable was it?
Very uncomfortable.
Long. Very.
Not me.
Very slow also.
Very slow also.
Yeah.
So it took some time, but you were able to do it.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Yeah, that's right.
correct. So if I give you 6 months and ask you every time only to sign with your left hand or not natural hand, how do you think you will do over 6 months?
We'll become experts in that also.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it will become much better, but I doubt it will ever be the same as the right hand.
Correct. I agree.
Yeah, it might change. Yeah.
It will become better, but it might not be at the same level as your natural hand. Right?
Mm. Yeah.
So it might be a completely different signature is what he means, I think.
No, we are
Yeah,
basically
it might-
saying ability to write. It doesn't mean only signature, right? So ability to write. Right?
Oh, okay.
So when people, you have seen instances and stories where people have lost their hands and they have started writing with their legs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So point is, your natural preference is whatever your right hand, if most of you use right hand is, and whoever has left hand, that's a natural preference towards writing. That's what you are born with.
Mm.
The other hand, which is not your natural preference, is something which is
Nurtured.
which can be nurtured over time to write. Right? So you will learn it. Sorry. Yeah, I'm going to put you back on mute. There's a lot of background noise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. So hence, so that's the whole piece around nature and nurture, right? So you will always be an expert, and these are all your preferences. You prefer writing with your right hand. If you start preferring writing with your left hand or the unnatural hand, you can still write. It's just that your natural preference is to write with your natural hand, right? So that's what you're born with. So that's why it's called preferences. It's not that the other side cannot be done.
Mm.
You prefer by default what comes naturally to you, right?
Yeah.
So
Mm.
any questions around this? Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So we can always ask questions as we move forward anyway. So don't worry about it. So you can stop me anytime. I'm okay with questions in between. Okay. So what MBTI instrument does is sorts responses to items to four personal preferences. So what MBTI is talking about, it talks about your MBTI is in the space of what you are born with, not in the space of what you have nurtured over time. Okay. So it gives you the personality which you are born with as a concept. So you always be stress-free, happy, and natural and expert at those preferences, while over time, you might have gone towards the other side of the preferences based on the nurture or the environment you are in. But your inherent thing is to be what comes out of MBTI. That's your base, what you're born with. That's the claim of MBTI. Okay?
Okay.
So it's divided into four things. While the three were created as by Myers and Briggs sisters, the fourth was added on later by somebody else. So the lifestyle or the how you actually do work itself, right? So, and what it claims is within these two, we'll come back into energy source. What do I mean by all this stuff? Is that at the end, so since there are 4 of them, you can create 4 by 4 into 16 personalities. Right? So all human beings are, according to MBTI, can do.
I didn't understand that.
So
I didn't
you
understand that.
Correct. So you have 4 extroversion versus introversion or introversion, sensing or intuition, thinking or feeling, judging or perceiving, right? So 4 of these in 4 into 4, 16 potential. You are given ESTJ, INFP. So that's what comes out as MBTI instrument, right? So you are given your preferences across all the 4 the energy source, the information, decision making, and lifestyle, right? We'll come, don't worry. I'll explain. And we'll showcase to you finally what is the 16 different types. And hence, based on the 16 different types, right? And that's where the contention for MBTI comes in as well. The people come back and say 16 types across humanity is too small. Okay, how can you slot humanity into 16 types only? There are a lot more criticisms around that piece. So they came back with a step 2, which has 5 elements to each of them. Okay, so that it increases it by 4 into 5 into 5 into 4, right? As many combinations possible then. But they will still tell you MBTI is only top 4, which is this INFP, ESTJ, etc., etc. That's your MBTI. And then there are certain nuances to each of them below that. So when you sit and try to do your MBTI, this is what you are told as a starting point. Imagine yourself sitting on an island and there's nobody else existing in this world beyond you. Okay? You have no role, you have no responsibilities. You are just you sitting alone and there's nothing else to be done. Right? So neither you're a father, no mother, you're not a student, you're not a professor or a corporate guy, anything. You're nothing. It's because nothing exists in this world. You're a single person living in this world alone on an island. Then what will you answer these questions as? Answer in that way. Okay? Imagine you have nothing else, then answer these questions. Okay? And that's very important for MBTI to be right in terms of what you get finally. That you answer them from who you are rather than what you have become in your daily life as a role, right? So the first one is about extroversion or introversion, right? Do not get confused by extroverted people or introverted people here. Okay, this is not about them. This is about how you utilize energy. From where do you get your energy as a person? So for extroverted people, it's all about the outer world for them. When you meet people, you get energy from them. When you are between people, you get energy from others. Whereas for an introverted person, it's all about the inner world. They get energy when they're alone from inside themselves. right? So the energy comes from within them, not from outside. Outside, if they interact with somebody, they spend energy in that moment. So they create energy when they're alone, and extroverted people spend energy when they're alone. But when they are with people, they actually create energy for themselves. Okay? So extroversion or introversion is all about from where do you create energy for yourself, right? So an extroverted person speaks to clarify thoughts, will prefer breadth over depth. Initially seen as easy to get to know because they are able to talk to a lot of people immediately, prefers to work with others, can have many relationships. They are all about interactions and they tend to make decisions quickly. While an introverted person will think to clarify thoughts. They will prefer depth over breadth. So any topic they work on, they will want to go deeper into it versus trying to have multiple, topics in their lives. Initially be seen as difficult to get to know because they are not interacting. They have very few close relationships. They like to work independently, lot of concentration instead of interaction, and reflects before making decisions. Okay? Yeah. So what I want each of you to do is, within these two columns, what do you most relate to and write for yourself? Where do you relate to and write I or E based on that? So who do you think you are, not who do you think you have become?
Can you read it out? I can't read.
Okay, so the extroverted people gain energy from outer world. So you are somebody who will be sitting in the center of a party. Okay, because that's where you gain energy from. Versus an introverted person who will be on the side of the party. They'll be on the somewhere, and they'll be closer to somebody they know in the party. Typically, right? The extroverted person will speak to clarify thoughts. The introverted person will think to clarify thoughts. They will keep on thinking more. Extroverted will prefer breadth over depth of topics or knowledge. Introverted person will prefer depth over breadth. So they'll want to go deeper. Extroverted person will initially be seen as easy to understand, get to know. Hey, I know so much about you. And versus an introverted who will be seen to be difficult to get to know as a person. Extroverted person prefers to work with others, while introverted people like to work independently. Extroverted people like many relationships, versus introverted will have few close relationships. Interaction versus concentration, tends to make decision quickly versus reflects before making decisions. Don't try to answer who you have become. Try to think who are you by default? If given a choice and nothing else exists in your world today, if everything just goes off around you, this is who I would want to be, or I will be by default. This is the space I will be then. Right? Our jobs would have make us interact more with people, right? But don't choose that because, given a choice that you didn't have a job, you had nothing. What will you want to do? Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so one second, I need to. I'm going to show this picture for another 10 seconds. I want you guys to write down what you saw once I stop showing it to you. See it? Okay, start writing down what you saw. Okay, I'm moving faster because we're already at 8. Okay. So what are the few things that came? Don't try to answer me now based on what I'm showing. So tell me, what did you write down immediately?
I've got waterfall. I've got water. I've got a man dressed in a green raincoat and a tunnel and a mountain behind it and above it. Sorry.
Okay.
And water is waist deep, and he's wading through the water. So,
Okay. Thank you.
I saw a man enjoying in some exotic lake with some waterfall and rocks in the background.
Okay. Next. Quickly, guys.
I saw a guy. I saw there was the rock was brown in the background, and there was green, and there was gray, and there was water. I actually didn't see anything about the waterfall. I just saw it spraying up, and I saw there's water below and a man in green in that.
Okay. Fair enough. Thank you.
I saw a green man in the middle of the waterfall. Sorry.
Arvind, you get your
Go
chance.
ahead, go ahead.
Who else was speaking?
I saw nature, beautiful, I would say nature, waterfall, a man inside the water. Yeah, so it was all very serene.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Pisolkar, sir.
I saw a waterfall, a man standing in the water and enjoying. It is a serene environment there.
Thank you. Ruchi? You are on mute if you are speaking.
Wait. Yeah. Now it's okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a waterfall, man dressed in green in the water, and there was some green in the waterfall. I thought that is algae. So some algae besides the waterfall.
Oh.
Okay. Arvind? Arvind? You are on mute.
I saw a green man fall. In fact, the green color. I saw a green man in the middle of a waterfall. The green color really struck me because the green was resonating with the wall of the waterfall.
Okay. Thank
And I was
you.
wondering how can
a man
be green?
Mountain be green, he's saying.
No, that's okay. Don't. It's okay. So, yeah. Okay. Thank you. So this is, there are two types. It's sensing and intuition is the way we take information in. That's a mental process that we are. So the way each of you intook the information from that slide, right? So while a sensing person will be paying attention to what you perceive through the 5 senses, see, hear, touch, smell, taste, I'll need to see more data. For them, it's all about data, right? Versus an intuitive person who will be paying attention to, as a sixth sense, the unseen world of meaning, inferences, hunches, insights, and connections. So while each of you gave us the way you looked at it, remember how Priya gave us the information. He said, man, green overalls, half water till waist high, and she was giving precise information to us, what she saw exactly. Versus people like so Nisha and Pisolkar sir, who spoke about sereneness and the quietness, the beauty, and all those kind of stuff. So they created a pattern for themselves around that picture, instead of just giving us the data of the picture, saying this is what I see, this is what I see, this is what I see, right? So they created another visual representation in their mind first as to what does it mean to them, right? So it's the way we intake information, and we're not talking processing here. We're just taking the way we intake. Okay. So in a sensing person will process information through the five senses, thinks in the here and the now, concrete thinkers, notices details, very practical, very factual, gather info from what they can see, and they are realistic people. Intuitive person will process information through pattern. It's not process. It's basically, they will take in information as patterns, right? They will think of future possibilities. Abstract thinkers, see big picture. Idealistic, theoretical, gathers info from underlying patterns. Inventive, right? So the understanding, if you ask a sensing person, so another example to give, or something that else that we use for this is, how would, if I come to your city and I'm at your home, how will you give me directions to reach the airport? Okay. So some people will actually tell me, go to the lift, you're on the 8th floor, go to the ground floor, press 0.
I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you, Rajat. Say that again.
So if I ask you, saying, if I'm at your home and I'm asking you for directions to the airport, I don't know your city. Okay. How will you give me those directions? Okay. So some people, typically a sensing person, would basically tell me, okay, hey, go out of this house. On the right hand side, there are the lifts. You're on the 8th floor. Get into the lift, press 0. You'll go into the ground floor. You go out of our main door of the building. Then you will be on the LBS mark. And from the LBS mark, from around 2 kilometers, you will hit, if you take a rake or something, in 2 kilometers, you will hit so-and-so mark, take a right from this mark. They will actually give you each and every data. It's like it's archived, and it's like a process, right? They will start from step 1, they will end to step n. They will not jump data. It's an archival system, which is actually brought back as it is. Whereas an intuitive person will say, hey, go down, take a right outside our building. You will hit a pink building. Take a left from that pink building. And from there, another, some kilometers down the line, you will hit a flyover. Take the flyover. They will have no specific data. They will remember it by patterns in terms of what they see as landmarks. And even there, it will be much more, unless the name itself stands like DHL, something that they can remember. It will be a pink building or a blue building or something. There'll be a people tree out there, take a ride, right? That's the difference between an intuitive versus a sensing person. It's the way we intake information and keep it with us. You will, okay? Make sense?
Yeah.
So write down for yourself S or I, who you are.
Sorry, Raju, what did you say?
S or I, what do you are? Write down for yourself according to what I have just told you.
Okay.
Right. So if you remember RJ speaking, he was all about pictures. He was like creating something else out there immediately. He did not give
So
us.
Rajat, just want a confirmation here. So with my response, I was an I, is it?
You sounded like a middle somewhere. You started like a S, then you ended like a I. You said serene and all, but then you also gave information before that.
Yeah, so there could be a combination of both.
Yes. So you can fall in the middle as well. So if you fall in the moderate.
That's what I felt.
So
okay.
Depending on the situation for those people, they will move to one, they will prefer one side or the other side, depending on the situation. So depending on how important the task is or something else, whatever the reason is, you will remember specific exact data. And for some places, you might not. You will be an I in those places.
Yep. This is just one doubt. Do we, if we are intuitive, do we mark ourselves as I or N? The slide itself has a discrepancy.
Yeah, so you can write I/N for if you feel you are a moderate person, depending on kind of cases.
How do we this concrete thinkers and abstract thinkers?
Yeah, so I don't think that is right. So it's not about thinking. So this is not about thinking. So forget that thinkers piece. The next type is all about thinking. So forget the concrete and abstract. So I'm just, as I said, I'm utilizing Aditi's deck. So forget the thinkers piece here. When they are more talking in terms of, so they will create future. They will always be about future and all this stuff, the intuitive guys, whereas the sensing guys will be about now, here and now, what data I have, fact, what are the facts here, kind of people. Okay. So next.
Yes.
Okay. So instead of this example, I'll give you another example. Forget this one. Okay. Your best friend has come to your place and you guys are supposed to go to a party together after that. Your best friend in this world has come to your house. You have opened your door and you see them wearing something you know they should not be wearing to this party. Okay. What will you do? Don't think too much. Give me a reaction immediately. What will you do?
She's my best friend. I'll tell her, hey, what the hell are you
I'll
wearing,
tell her,
man?
yeah.
Here's my top.
One by one. Don't say yes to each other.
What is the question? Sorry, please repeat. What is the question?
The question is, your best friend has come to your door and you guys are going to a party after that. And when you open the door, you see your best friend wearing something they should not be wearing to this party at all. Okay. What will you do in that moment? So guys, don't answer for everybody else. Answer what you will do one by one.
Yeah.
Okay. Priya started. Let me ask Priya again. Priya, you would immediately say,
I would. Yeah, she's my best friend. So I'll say, what the hell are you wearing? Here's my top. Wear this instead.
Fair enough. Thank you. Ruchi, you started. What's your reaction?
Yeah, I will not say immediately. I will let her in first and then think a way how to put it across. But I will tell her that it's not appropriate for the party. But I'll find out a way so that she doesn't feel bad. That
You'll pad it up and tell her that.
Yeah. I'll find. Yeah. Correct.
Okay. Next, Nikhil.
So it's my best friend style. So I won't say anything unless it's really outlandish or something which, and it's like a formal party and it's casuals or something like that. But otherwise, it's all about the person's style. So I won't say anything.
Fair enough. Thank you, Pisholkar sir.
Instantaneously, I'll say, what are you wearing here?
Okay. Thank you, Rajat.
I don't think I will say anything to this. Whatever he's wearing is okay.
Fair enough. Thank you, Rajiv.
I will not initially react, but just like how Ruchi said, I may subtly try to give a reference.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Nisha?
I'll just say, hey, what are you wearing? It may not look appropriate. So please, if you'd like to change, I'll have a pair of clothes for you.
Okay. Thank you. There's nobody else, right? Arvind?
I let him in and then tell him.
But immediately tell him, or you will also think before and find a way and all this stuff?
No, first let him in. And I won't pad it up. I might say it out.
Okay. So Ruchi and Rajiv, when you pad it up, when will you, is there a particular time when you tell them in terms of, or sometimes you let them go and sometimes you'll tell them? Is there a situation when you tell them?
Oh, I'll tell her first. Okay.
Go ahead, Ruchi.
I'll tell her for sure because I don't want her to become a joke in the party.
Okay.
So I'll tell her for sure. That is undoubtedly. But I'll talk. Communication will be in such a way that thing will come up and I'll put it across.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if and when you believe that she will become a joke out there, you will tell her. But even if she's wearing something bad and she might not become a joke, then you will not tell her, according to you.
No. If she's okay for the party, why will I tell her?
No, not okay, but she will not become a joke also.
No. If she's odd one out, no, I'll tell her then also.
Okay. Rajiv?
So if the question is, I will certainly bring it up and I will tell. Basically, I think my approach would be to say that I will just figure out that my friend is aware of what If there is a dress code formally, at least I'll make sure that the person is aware that dress code is what it is and why he or she is wearing what he or she is wearing, and I'll leave it at that.
And if there is no dress code,
then I'll let it be.
even if she is wearing something that is not worthy of that party.
So I'll, like I said, I'll just make a passing reference saying this is what I guess people will be wearing.
Yeah.
And just leave it at that, so that person is aware and see if they are comfortable with. And see, as I said, see where it goes. The person is comfortable with it, fine. If they're not comfortable, then see what can be done.
Yeah. So it's about their image, how they will be seen, etc., that you will take a decision on because of that.
Yeah, I let it. I will pass you the information. I'll see what it is, and I'll let them decide what they want to do.
Okay. Okay. So this is the third type, the thinking and the feeling types. Okay. A thinking type makes decisions based on impartial criteria, cause-effect reasoning, constant principles or truths, and logic. A feeling person will make decisions based on values, person-centered criteria, seeking harmony. Okay. So a good way to judge a thinking and a feeling person is a thinking person. Let's say there is a crisis. They will actually stand outside from the crisis and then take a decision. A feeling person will walk right inside the crisis, stand in the middle and say, hey, tell me what's happening to each of you. And how can I solve this? Okay. So a thinking person decides with heads, judges based on logic, driven by thought, practical, gives priority to truth, facts, impersonal at times, not easily upset by others' remarks, and highly rational. While a feeling person will decide with heart, judges based on feelings of others, driven by emotion, empathetic, gives priority to relationships, personal, takes remark personally, passionate. Okay, so who do you think you are, each of you, now that we have spoken? So people who answered me saying they will immediately tell are the T's. People who said they will not tell at all, they will not tell at all are the feeling guys. The people who said depending are the middle people who will depend on the situation, will say they have become T or F based on that. So Ruchi and Rajiv, you will fall somewhere there in middle on that one. So Rajiv,
Rajat, now that I'm hearing,
Rajiv more towards the T. Ruchi maybe is more moderate, depending situation kind of thing. Yeah.
Rajiv is, you already said Rajiv is more towards?
Thinking. Because you will still tell, whatever it takes, you will still tell. But then there is some feeling aspect to it, where in Ruchi's case, it will depend.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Priya, sorry. Can't hear you. You're on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So when the question you asked was, they gave me the impression that if a friend arrives at the door and she's totally inappropriately dressed, so what came to my mind was that maybe, say for example, she's wearing a pair of shorts or something, or a singlet, and she's come to my doorstep, and of course she's welcome, but there's, say for example, a ceremony happening inside, and where everyone's dressed traditionally and there are elders and all, whatever. That came to my mind for some reason. In situation like that, I would say, hey, listen, we got it. I'd like you to change quickly. So that is what came to my mind. But in a situation where she may not be appropriately dressed,
I'm saying she is.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So depending on who the audience is, who's there, she's come to the party for. If it's for, say, people of my age group, I would probably not tell her. But if somebody more senior or different type, then I would tell her that. And knowing her as a friend, she would understand where I'm coming from. And even if despite that,
no. So you are creating scenarios. My scenario was you're going to a party.
Yeah.
So party is definitely not puja at home and nothing. So I'm saying you are going out for a party.
Okay.
So I've had friends who I have gone with parties, and I can't tell them. Whatever it is, I will not tell.
Okay, then I would not tell. If it's clearly a party only, then I would definitely not tell.
Even for a party, it's not what you would want to wear yourself or see her that person wearing, right? From your values system. Will you tell them or not?
No, then I won't tell. Then I
Okay.
won't tell.
Okay. So choose who will you be between thinking and feeling. Please understand that feeling people can be extremely harsh when their values are broken. So you might think that thinking people will be harsh. The feeling people can be as harsh towards people when they break values. So if I see somebody being not fair, I will actually go on the other side and screw their happiness. Right? I will be very much harsher than a thinking person. Right? So depending on who you are, so nothing is better or lesser in these types. These are preferences that you have naturally, right? Okay.
So clarity, na?
Yeah.
Next. Okay. So now, so when you plan a holiday, each of you, how much in advance do you plan your holidays?
If it's something international, then a good month over. But if it's something local, I mean in India, then sometimes within 2 to 3 days, overnight sometimes.
Okay. And when I say plan, you have booked your tickets, done your everything. So it's 1 month or 3 days kind of thing for you, India or international. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Others? Yeah, please.
Like maximum time to plan.
Maximum time
10
to
days.
plan.
Like 10 days.
Okay. Ruchi?
I will prefer to plan it maybe 10-15 days back. But now the situation is like, because the flight tickets become expensive and all, because of that reason, I plan it ahead, maybe 2 months back or something like that. Yeah.
But given a choice, if flight tickets were all okay, everything you will plan 2 days before.
10 days, yeah.
10 days before. Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
You're asking about planning a trip, right, Rajat? Not impulsive trips.
Not impulsive. Planning a trip.
Planning a trip, I would. So I usually have, at least broadly, I have my calendar for the year, and I do everything in advance.
Awesome. Okay, Rajat.
Yeah, so I am also well planned. I would know about even inside the plan, where will I go? What bus would I take? What hotel will I stay? What restaurant I'll go to it? I'll do all the research before going.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. Nisha.
I would like to plan it much in advance.
I would like to. I do.
I do. I haven't planned anything in a long time, so that's the reason I said I would like to.
Planning for this, joining this whole coaching thing. How often do you plan for it? Or you just do it?
I see a sudden shift in me, so I've suddenly become a little spontaneous.
Okay.
Yeah, because of the situations I'm in, rather. So otherwise, I feel I'm a very planned person. I like to see things in a calendar, but I think because of the situations I'm in, I'm more spontaneous nowadays.
Fair enough. Rajiv?
Yeah. Rajat, here I need. Yeah.
One second. Rajiv, we can't hear you.
I said in the recent living memory, I don't think I have planned anything for a long time. I generally just do it. I like to think a lot about it. So I think there's a difference in planning and execution here. So I may.
So we are talking planning.
Yeah.
Planning to do that. So I'll not be much in advance. I think. I'll get very anal about it, very closer to it. But it will not be like some 4 months in advance. I can't imagine planning anything 6 months in advance or 1 year in advance. Probably.
Fair enough.
Just about a month. That's all.
Okay. Arvind?
Definitely fully planned.
Okay.
Definitely fully planned.
And what happens to each of you when your plans don't go as per plan?
Yeah, this is the reason why I don't plan it ahead.
No. So the question is not that. I'm not creating a reason for you. I'm asking you, what happens to you when things don't go as per plan? How do you react in that moment?
Yeah, before this, I need to add that you talked about the planning a trip. So in that case, I'll plan 10 days ahead. But other than that, I plan everything much ahead. Planning a trip is different for me. Planning the other things. Yeah.
Fair
So
enough.
if the things don't go according to my plan, I am shattered. I don't like it.
Okay. Sure. Thank you. Priya?
Rajat, one important thing that I want to say, when you asked about the plan, I was thinking about majorly, basically, okay, fine, if I want to go to, say, Australia, so I plan to go to Australia, we'll go to so-and-so city, and maybe I'll think of what we want to do once we get there. I don't really make a detailed plan. I usually arrive and let the place sort of guide me and take me through.
Correct.
Obviously, a few things, but no detailing. So I'm never disappointed that way. I go and like to discover a place myself, you know.
Sure. So that gives me the answer for my question, a second question as well. So you're okay with what happens to you then after that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Rajat?
I get pretty restless if that happens, because if I've planned something and then it does not go like as per my schedule or whatever, it does not leave me with a good feeling. And probably if something goes wrong, then I try to make another plan which suits whatever is the leftover time to do the stuff that I want to do.
Sure.
I'll always have some plan.
Yeah, but you will feel irritated and all those kind of stuff that will happen to you.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you. Nikhil?
Yeah, so rarely does it happen. Usually they do get executed. But this one, a live one is I just cancelled my ticket for Himachal for New Year's, which I booked in August, and 10-12 of us made a plan in August. That's got cancelled for different reasons. So initially, irritation, disappointment, but I've gotten over it in a couple of days, and now the next plan.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. Rajiv?
I would, so generally if things don't go per plan, I will get upset. But then I also get over it quickly.
That's who you become. But default is you will get irritated.
Oh yeah, I'll get pissed off.
Yeah. Okay. But that you have trained yourself not to react for a long time. So
That's right. Yeah. That's probably the way it is. Yeah.
okay. Nisha?
So I think I'm a little confused here. So maybe I'll just let you know what's on my mind. If I'm planning something and if it does not happen the way I was planning it, and if I get to know about it in the last minute, then it really puts me off. So otherwise, as of now that I'm trying to be spontaneous, I think I'm trying to be cool about it also. So I have a contradiction there. I don't know.
That you are training yourself now. So that's not a contradiction. The default is the irritation, right? So that's the nurture piece that you're creating for yourself now. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Pisolkar sir?
Momentary sadness and regret, and then replan.
Okay, but earlier on in your life, initial days of your corporate life, when you were still not responsible for things, how would you react?
I think it was a bit frustration, sadness. Oh, something has gone wrong. That means I have not planned well. So.
Okay. Fair enough. Thank you. So, while
Rajat, one sec. Yeah, if I wanted to add something, if it's again about the trip, I don't get hassled a bit also if it's cancelled. But other than that, any planning gets cancelled, which is my priority. Vacationing is not my priority, so I don't get hassled with it. So I'm okay with if it gets cancelled. So there's a contradiction. I don't know.
No, that's not a contradiction. So something that you want to do doesn't happen as per plan, then you get irritated.
Correct. And then I get really irritated. That's the extreme level.
Yeah. So for whatever reason, they called it judging and perceiving, J and P. right? And judging basically means, so it's nothing to do with judgments at all. So in the MBTI, so judging is basically a person who wants to live an ordered life with goals and structure, making decisions so you can move on. A perceiving person wants to live a life of spontaneity with flexibility, staying open to new information possibilities, right? So if you see typical, if you know, a judging person, if you are given a project to do or any work to do, they will go one step, they'll plan it, they will go one step, and they'll finish on time. It's like a linear process for them. With a perceiving guy, given a work, will go down, everywhere. They'll do time pass here, there, and the last moment they'll suddenly finish everything. Okay, in the last moment, they will scratch up everything.
That's
and
me.
Yeah. So that's the difference between the two people. They will both do quality work. It's not that they are not doing quality work. It's not the difference in terms of the work that is being created. It's the way they do the work itself, right? In the outer world. So a judging person would like to finish one job before starting another, will prefer to move towards closure, very structured, prefers to plan before taking action. Control is important. They are organized, tends to stick to a plan and feel responsible for stuff. While a perceiving person would start many things without finishing, but they will finish. Remember that it's not that they're not finishing, but they'll have multiple things going on. Keeps options open. It's like future should always be open. Like Priya, but when I heard you, you said may, so you're open. So you're a perceiving person. You don't like plans, right? So
yeah. So like I said, you know, I mean, it's okay if it goes wrong, but I'm saying that I don't like lose sleep over it. But yeah, I'll try to do it. Like, you know, I'll try my best to make it. It doesn't like.
Correct. So you are a pure perceiving person. You're a P from that perspective.
Yeah. So for example, we had planned a trip to China, and literally, can you believe it? We went to Hong Kong for a small detour, and we were supposed to enter China. The visa guy had not got us the visa. We came back. Imagine, we had tickets, we had whole plans, all the other girls are screaming and shouting and yelling. And I was like pretty chilled out. I said, oh, never mind. Next time, you know, we'll have to come back.
Yeah. So they are flexible. They're spontaneous with actions. They're relaxed, disorganized, tends to change decisions midway, tends to procrastinate. But the point is, they will keep closure till the maximum time they can. So they will not want to close things. They will want to have possibilities open. For them, it's all about possibilities, saying, okay, there's still some possibility there, right? Why do you want to say it's not possible anymore, right?
Yeah.
They will keep on having those options open, saying this, the option is always open. You will use a lot of may kind of word, might kind of words, right? Whereas a judging person will say have to, should, very much, has to happen, like that kind of thing. So the language itself changes. So that's the approach to life, right? So are you a J or a P? Right for yourself.
कहाँ पे बच्चे खेल रहे हैं इतना? किसके पीछे?
अजत के वहाँ हमारे को म्यूट कर रहा है.
नहीं, मेरे नहीं है कोई. मेरे आसपास कोई नहीं. I have very silent background. I am going to.
सोलकर जी क्या बच्चे खेल रहे हैं?
I will mute one by one and see who goes.
Sorry.
We are trying to see where the bachas are playing. Yeah, Pisulka sir, in your society.
Oh.
That's okay. What happened? No worries. We're okay. Okay, moving on. So. Okay. So what did each of you get?
I got ESFP.
1 second. Priya says ESFP.
Yeah.
Okay.
First was introversion was N or I?
I.
So intuition is also I?
N. So that is S or N, intuition.
Okay. So mine is ISFJ.
Okay. Tisolkar sir.
Yeah, just a second.
Okay.
Okay.
Rajat?
I had it is INFJ.
Okay. Nikhil?
NFP, but again, on E and I, I'm not sure. I don't know what to kind of go with.
That's okay. E/I and then NFP. Okay. Nisha?
So E/I. S/I.
S/N.
Thinking.
S/N.
Yeah. Thinking. And J. Judging.
Okay. Rajiv?
I think
Eh?
Oh,
We lost you, Rajiv. Okay, let him come back.
Now
Yeah, yeah. What is it?
on S and N. You did, which exercise was that? That was the color exercise.
S or N? Yes.
The waterfall exercise.
Yeah.
Hello.
S or N? Okay. He stopped. Fine. Okay. Okay. So these don't go by.
Waterfall exercise. I was on S or N. I thought it was S. Yeah.
So what is your final?
I thought it was S because I gave a lot of information. I mean, gave a lot.
Rajiv, your voice is breaking,
I
dude.
think ESTJ.
ESTJ.
I missed on what you said. You said on don't go by something.
ESTJ. Okay.
I'll call back.
Yeah, you're fine now. Okay. So these are the 4 properties. Hello. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what I was talking about, Priya. So there are 16 possibilities like this in totality, right? So
Yeah, I can see that now.
right. So you can be an ENFJ, all this kind of stuff. So don't go by what is written in Mastermind and Counselor and all that kind of stuff. Those are later created. So one important thing is MBTI should never be used for recruitment. Okay. That's something that is very important. It's not a recruitment tool at all. It's for knowing who you are at any point of time. That's all it is. Okay. While you can't see each of this, let's see if we, yeah, okay. So we have Priya. No, what do we have here?
For me also think.
Huh?
For me also T/F. Thinking /F.
Yeah, yeah. So do me a favor. Quickly, who guys INFJ, which is
I am INFJ.
Rajat, when you read this paragraph, what comes up for you? Does this make sense to you completely? INFJ paragraph? Okay. So this very much aligns to who you are as a person, right?
Yes.
Nikhil, INFP, can you read and see which one, ENFP or INFP, which makes more sense to you?
Yeah, that's what I was just going through. You want me to read it out?
ENFP is warmly enthusiastic and imaginative, see life as full of possibilities, make connections between events and information very quickly, and confidently proceed based on the patterns they see. Want a lot of affirmation from others and readily give appreciation and support. Spontaneous and flexible, often rely on their ability to improvise and their verbal fluency. INFPs, idealistic, loyal to their values and to people who are important to them, want an external life that is congruent with their values, curious, quick to see possibilities, can be catalyst for implementing ideas, seek to understand people and to help them fulfill their potential.
Excuse me.
Adaptable, flexible, and accepting unless a value is threatened.
So I identify with both, and there are some very strong words used on both sides. So
you will be a moderate on E and I then. That's okay. So
yeah,
if you do your step 2, you will figure out which side what works for you.
Okay.
Okay. I'm moving forward because nobody's ENFJ here, right? Okay.
That
Huh?
I had done my MBTI sometime back, and the result that came in that was ENTP, whereas here I've got ESFP.
Okay, so read ENTP is in front of you. Okay, see what you does it make
Quick,
sense?
ingenious, stimulating, alert, and outspoken.
Can you read because others might be reading as well? So, okay. So who else is here? INFJ. Yeah, so Nisha, you should read the ENTJ here and the INTJ here.
In fact, I'm more towards ESTJ. Is there something?
Yeah. ESTJ. Okay, we'll come there next. Priya, what do you think? ENTP?
Yeah, I really think this is me, yeah. ENTP.
Okay,
Quick,
hold on.
ingenious,
Hold on.
stimulating,
We'll go
alert.
to the next and see the ESFP also. Okay. ESFG is there, and Nisha says ESTJ.
ESPF is also here.
ESFP. And Ruchi is ISFJ. Quite friend. Yeah. So Ruchi, yours is here as well.
I'm not quiet.
This is who you are by default, given a choice. Rajiv, ESTJ. Okay.
यार मेरे को तो ये भी मैं लग रही हूँ, वो भी लग रही हूँ, वो भी लग
You are every.
छाई हुई हूँ मैं.
ISFJ is fine, other than quiet thing.
Okay, fair enough. That's okay. Last. So who falls here?
रजत, मेरा NT पे गड़बड़ लग रहा है. SF and NT.
That's okay. गड़बड़ नहीं है कुछ भी. That's okay. So you will have certain nuances to each of them. Then.
Okay.
ESTJ, Rajiv, I'm going to read it for you. ESTJ. Practical, realistic, matter of fact, decisive, quickly move to implement decisions, organize projects and people to get things done, focus on getting results in the most efficient way possible, take care of routine details, have a clear set of logical standards, systematically follow them, and want others to also, forceful in implementing their plans.
Yeah, largely there.
That sounds like you, man. Seriously.
I can totally relate to it.
Sorry, Rajiv.
ESTJ.
Oh, okay. Nisha says ESTJ. Okay. Yeah. So even Nisha said ESTJ, right?
Can
Rajiv?
we check IT? Sorry. Yeah.
So, Rajiv, what portion of it didn't make sense to you?
No, I said that sounds like it. So one thing that is there, you said there's some more detailing.
So when we did, our MB, so we got a second level, right, Rajiv, when we did it?
Yeah.
So that has more details to it. So,
No. In this you said as part whatever overview you gave, you said something on detail. What is that? Routine something.
Okay, sorry. Detailed.
Take
What did you
care of
what did you
details.
mention?
Take care of routine. Of the details everyday life.
So you take care of.
I can't hear you.
Yeah. So take care of routine details.
हाँ वो मैं इतना डिटेल ओरिएंटेड आदमी नहीं हूँ.
Okay.
जहाँ जरूरत है but
when it's about routines. No, Rajiv, it's about routines. It's not about all the items.
Routine, routine, etc. is properly followed. Routine is followed, yeah.
And you want details, yeah.
I ensure लोगों को बोलेगा काम करने को, काम खुद करेगा नहीं.
Got it. So, Nisha, this makes sense to you as well?
Absolutely. Word by word.
Okay, so you got clarity on who you are then. So that's the beauty of this step. Okay, so yeah.
So I think like ISTJ for me, I was thinking and feeling. So
Sorry.
ISTJ also.
One sec.
Yeah.
One sec. Going back.
Would this presentation be shared, Raja?
Yeah. Definitely, yes. Which one do you want? ISTJ?
ISTJ, yeah.
Yeah, here it is.
Yeah.
So quiet is here also. I, the default comes with I.
Serious 161. Yes, ISTJ.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. ISTJ.
Okay. Good enough. Okay. So the important thing to understand with MBTIs, now that you know who you are, is that you have a choice. Okay. These are preferences that you have. You have a choice to behave, react based on what you're seeing now and what you want to become as well. Okay. So it doesn't mean that this is how you have to live your life. So knowing that this is a situation and I will react to this note by default like this because I'm this person, you choose how to respond then. Right? If this is who I am, I will react typically to such a situation like this, but I need to respond like this time. Right? So if you are firing people in your organization and if you are a thinking person, you're a T by default, you would want to take a step back and get into a feeling zone before you do those activities. Right? Feel the other's pain and then take decisions on that as well at times. So knowing who you are and understanding the situation, you take a approach towards or respond to that situation in that moment. Right? Say it's the same concept for others as well. Knowing that this is their MBTI, this is who they are, you respond to them accordingly in that moment, saying, okay, I understand where this person is coming from. Right? Knowing this is how this person thinks, reacts, does things, gets his energy from, then I choose to respond or utilize that person in that moment to what I want to interact, how I interact with that person. Right? So a team, the whole team knowing who they are, each other, what's their profile or their type, they can work much better as a team because they understand what these people are, who these people are, each one of them. So when we do a workshop on MBTI, it's a whole day or 2 days kind of workshop wherein we do different kind of activities with the entire team and make them think about each other. Right? So MBTI is as such very powerful, knowing yourself. And so this is called a step 1, just the 4 naming conventions. Then there is a step 2 and there is a step 3 that has recently come out, but it's not yet popular enough. So step 1, step 2, if you want to go deeper, then do step 2, which is much more detailed and all this kind of stuff.
So step 2 goes into further detailed questioning about the person.
And the data it provides you.
I see.
Questions? What's coming up?
Said that this is not a tool for recruitment. You also said that these are preferences, and then you can exercise a choice depending on the situation. So you have to be aware of it, self-aware.
Correct.
And thirdly, you said that this is good for from a teaming or getting to know kind of thing.
Correct.
I'm interested in knowing, how organizations use MBTI effectively from a teaming standpoint. What lessons are there? How do people who lead teams use MBTI?
So a lot is used for Sorry, Rajiv. So a lot is used for team building and conflict management. MBTI is a brilliant tool for conflict management between a team. Okay, so it's used for those scenarios a lot. Team building definitely to create a more cohesive team out there, so who understands each other, right? So that's when MBTI is used a lot. I'm going to share my MBTI with you guys, my report on the screen, which is the step 2 report itself. Okay. So while the first 2 pages, so this is how the report comes, Rajat Gargs, it will tell you the basics around it, right? Then it shows this is who I am in terms of clarity of preferences. So when I did this the first time, this is the first time when I did it in INSEAD. So now when I did the second time, it's already here, I. Okay, my I and N have increased a lot, but it should. So it's basically also about saying MBTI doesn't change. It should not change because this is who you are by default. Okay, so your MBTI preferences cannot change over time. But if you try to do it again, it's a simple tool, then you will be able to manipulate the tool as well. Okay, so don't do MBTI very soon. Do it after 5-6 years when you've forgotten what you answered the last time. Right? And a lot of people answer it from a role perspective. This is who I am now as a person. This is how I behave now, kind of answers. So this is who I am. So when I say slide, this is where the mid zones lie. The moderate to moderate, these are the mid zones. So depending on the situation, it will shift. Okay. So it will tell you the basics around INFPs, saying what is an INFP typically is, then does this type fit you? That's okay. So then it goes into the next levels. So extraversion, the next levels are initiating, expressive. Better than this, I'll show you which has slightly more data. Yeah. So when it gives you the data, this is where I'm saying it might have certain nuances to it. Although I'm an introversion person, my 2 of them go into extroversion.
Correct.
Right? So initiating is all about sociable, congenial, introduce people to each other. Receiving is, somebody reserved, low key, is introduced, typically not goes on out introducing themselves. So gregarious is want to belong, broad circle, join groups. This is who I am. While I do seek these things, but I also want these. These are more important to me as a person. Enthusiastic, lively, energetic, seek spotlight. So while I'm here sometimes, but I see these more. My preference is towards this. So these are called out of preference. Because this is my default preference, and this is my out of preference is what falls here. Okay. So similarly, it goes, so you get 5 more of each. So it's like going into details, and it gives you each for each. Receiving in preference, give you 6 bullets, 5 bullets out there again within that. So on each, so that's step 2 is a very detailed report about who you are. And when you're doing coaching, the step 2 makes a lot of difference when talking to a client. Because then you can pinpoint saying, this is who you are, and you're facing such a situation now, which ensures that you have to do something that you are not. Right? Then talk about it and coach them around it. It goes on like this.
I've got a question, Rajat.
Okay.
This looks to me like if you're a certain type, you could be taking up certain careers and making certain career decisions.
You should not. Therefore, MBTI is not about career. MBTI is not about careers at all.
Or if not careers, then what kind of role or work should I be doing in life? For example, like a coach, for example, since is there a particular type? I just saw in that green thing and those colors thing and all of that. You mentioned healer and champion and this and that. And there's some other ones for the other. I couldn't see it properly.
Yeah,
So if you want to become a coach, is there a particular type that you should be, for example?
So INFPs are by default coaches or healers and all those kind of people, right? But then this is again aggregated data. That's not the reason why MBTI is done. This is based on a lot of aggregated data across. People have tried figuring out how to use MBTI for saying majority of the people who are INFPs are into coaching, but that's not true. It's just the set that they worked with, right? So it's like sun signs. So it's aggregated data. It's not the truth. It doesn't mean that INFP has to be a coach. It doesn't mean that an ESTJ cannot be a coach. Right?
Would you be a better coach if you were an INFP?
It's not about that at all. It's not about that at all. That's where I'm trying to keep on, pushing it back, saying don't take decisions on that.
Okay. So just to add here, I am an INFJ and I've done the level 1. I've not done the level 2, but I was INFJ also when I did it 4 years back. By default, I'm supposed to be the coach, counselor kind of a role, but I'm actually a project manager. This has nothing to do with my, MBTI kind of thing. The only thing is, sometimes because of my feelings and other things, I'm able to empathize more with people and get the best out of them. So, I mean, it has nothing to do with career choices. Mine is exactly opposite to what. But yeah, I'm finally going into this, counseling and coaching thing in line with my personality. But I think you can manipulate some of these skills to accommodate any profession.
Yeah.
And I have figured out that even though I am not very, thinking type or data driven because of my personality, but I compensate for it in other things. Like for example, I'm able to motivate team members more because I feel I'm sympathetic and stuff like that. So my team members are more aligned to me because of feelings and stuff. So I think that way.
Yeah, so I agree. So it's basically you can be successful at what you do currently because you are able to adapt to the situation. You have nurtured yourself over time to be better at it. Right? It's the same thing, left hand. You started writing with your left hand, a natural hand, and been good at it as well. Right? But given a choice, you will rather write your books any day. Right? If you are faced with a situation, you will go back to writing a book rather than becoming a project manager, if that works for you. Because being a project manager still creates stress for you. It's not who you are. Right? You are good at it. It takes an effort to be good at it. Right? Because you do stuff which is not your preference.
Giving you an example, my manager constantly tell me, Rajat, you take data before you take decisions. Why don't you solicit more data? Why don't you analyze this data? I'm going by intuition. That is my personality type. But I still am able to take some good decisions because of intuition. So it's a mismatch in that sense.
Yeah, so it works for you. So whenever you're going to get into stress situations or the highly complicated stress and all that stuff, you will go back to your natural style. Okay, that is who you will become. Right. So
I remember this. Hello.
Yeah, go on.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just going to.
There was this. I forget the name of the chap who was with us in INSEAD, and he was HR lead. Okay, and I think by nature, but he was an I. And at the end of this exercise, he said that his role involved a lot of E kind of work, meeting, etc., engaging, interacting. But he remembered when he said that at the end of the day, when he went back home, he would be so tired. He said, I would just, completely withdraw and I would be just so tired that I'll not be able to do anything. And that's what we were saying that, probably it is not his natural self. He was doing it. And when he got time, that's why he was so tired at the end of the day, because it is not his natural state of happiness or passion or whatever.
So he has been spending energy throughout the day. So he need to be alone to create energy again from within, right? Because he is an I. So for me, it's same here. Like I'm speaking right here for 1.5 hours. For me, I'm spending energy continuously in this moment. I would want to be quiet with a book or a movie or a serial or something for some time alone after this to regain my energy. And I have another call at 9:30 now, which I have again had to talk. So for me, those 2 days face to face or the 3 hours that I do on Mondays are all energy being spent continuously. Right. So when I used to do it in Chennai, it was thankfully that I had a flight back to Bangalore. So I had nobody to talk to. I don't have to talk to my next neighbor in the plane. It gave me a time to just recoup what has happened for me for those 2 days. Right. So in Bombay, I just come home from the place.
What does this say? What does this indicate? Like you are what?
I'm an I, deep I. So I need time alone to spend. Sorry?
In that case, I'm not I. In that case, I'm not I. If I spend, like you said, for 2.5 hours talking, after that also I can talk. I don't need a quiet
Would you
time.
want people around you at that point?
Yeah, I don't mind. I'll be happy.
Yeah, so that's why. So you will become an E in that moment. Right? But there are situations when you would want to be alone as well, in your case. So you will be in the moderate zone somewhere.
Yeah, I am in the moderate of E and I. Yeah. In parties, the way you said, in parties, I'll be in the side with I will not be in the center of the party. That time
But
I'll be very
if you are partying with your close friends, you will be in the center.
Yeah,
you know
then I'll be in the
everybody.
center.
You know everybody there. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So my score was also between extrovert and introvert was somewhere in between, more towards introvert side. But that's what he said. Between close friends, I have a tendency to try to hit the spot. Right? In a bigger party, I'll be in the corner.
Correct. Me also.
Yes, so you're on mute, sir. Sorry.
Example, we are giving writing.
Sorry, we missed what you said.
Of writing, that is something born with natural preference. But actually, family has nurtured that I should write with right hand only. Writing with left hand is unauspicious. So maybe, so that is, I thought I'll just share with you that.
And
now
it seems that your natural preference, the right hand.
Yeah, so that's what I was also wanted to share, that now having worked so much in this world, now it's a bit difficult to get in touch with what is my natural preference, what is I'm born with. That was one.
Yeah, so this is not a how. So this is, I'm just taking you through the exercise. This is not the real exercise. There's a test out there. Okay, so which takes care of those ambiguities. So wherein you just respond to the answers. You're made to choose an answer. You can't escape an answer. You choose to answer in one choice. So they both might seem okay. This is who I am. This is who I am also. But then you have to choose one, right? So the test takes care of that assessment.
So mine was actually INTJ. I don't know how it is. Whether it is J or P last, that only I was.
Okay.
I don't do this.
INTJ.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. So remind me next time in February. I'll bring along the big thick book around MBTI, and you guys can read chapter on yourself after that on each type in the room.
Okay.
So if that helps you guys, so this thick book. So enjoy with that book. Okay, so we are mostly done. We are at 9:07 also. I recognize the time has gone beyond what we planned. And any last questions, or we say bye, because we can cover these up again later on.
Rajat, one last quick question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. In order to be a coach, will it help to understand and learn how to do MBTI or learn its application?
So that's a different topic altogether. Point is, what is famous in this moment is important. Okay, what are the clients buying? So MBTI is not that prevalent anymore in India. People are still buying it, but a lot of them, for leaders, actually do Hogan. or 360 degrees. So
What's that? Hogan.
Hogan,
Hogan.
HOGAN, or 360 degree assessments. So MBTI has come down a lot in terms of people, wanting it. So, and there's a lot of negative press around it, but it's a beautiful tool in itself. So I would say don't yet give your money to MBTI. It's 1.2, 1.3 lakhs for the training. So it's not a small amount. So each of them is very expensive going through the training. Right? But with this data that you have today, you can actually talk to a client. You can understand at a basic level where it is coming from. Right? Think about it. Take your time. I'm saying we can talk individually on each of these topics, saying what's your preference, what are you looking for from this. Yeah?
Okay. Thanks.
So till date, I have done only one workshop on MBTI, which the company bought. I've done it for my clients, one-to-one, but so I thought this would open doors. It hasn't. Yes, Pisulkar sir.
I just wanted to say apology. I didn't understand that question. That the children are playing and that is disturbing. So I realized it later. I didn't understand that question.
No. We were more thinking whose society is still allowing children to play at this time.
Yeah.
No, whose house is on the lower floor? That is more important.
This is 7th floor, but I don't know.
Oh, still? Oh my God.
And everything is closed.
Okay.
All windows are closed.
Just one. Sorry.
Last.
Say something.
Hello? Yeah, Rajat.
Say.
Yeah. So, Rajat, just one more question. Is there any indicator for a person's? This is a person's inherent characteristics. The MBTI thing. Is there a way of evaluating his group-related role as well? So, in a group scenario, how is a person likely to behave? So you said MBTI, but
behavior. So behaviors. If you're looking for behaviors, then Hogan and DISC and all are better for behavior.
As in a group.
As in a group or as a person also, how do I behave? So this is about personality, MBTI. Hogan and DISC and others are on behaviors. How do you behave?
What is it? DISC? D-I-S-C.
D-I-S-C. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Let's say bye-bye for tonight. And I'll post the recording. And for others who did not join. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much.
Bye. Take care.
Thanks so much, Raja. It's wonderful.
Bye, guys. Good night.
Thanks.